First off, I know I look skinny as hell. I don't know why my arms look like this. I got a little bit of muscle. For some reason, the camera just makes them look super skinny when I look like this. But, anyways, that's not the point of this video. I did not like Venom 3. I know. To some, that might be blasphemy. Some might agree with me, and then others really might not. Some people are like die hard for this stuff. But yeah, I'm not afraid to say it. I did not like it. I thought it was boring. I thought it could have been better. I had quite a bit of problems with it. I thought there were parts in the movie that were just stupid, parts that didn't make any sense, parts that were unnecessary. Looking at the reviews also, it's got a 36% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a 41 out of 100 on Metacritic, a 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb. So it seems I'm not the only one who thought this movie wasn't that great. Starting off my problems with it, the movie's been out for a couple of days. I'm just not even going to bother with not going into spoilers. If you still want to see the movie, this is your spoiler warning, but I don't recommend watching this movie. I at least don't recommend paying for this movie. I wouldn't say I don't recommend watching it. It wasn't that bad of a movie, but it's not something I would have paid for if I had known going into this movie. I had no plans of going to see this movie, but some of my friends hit me up and they asked if I wanted to go to see it. I actually saw it on the first day of release. So they hit me up and asked if I wanted to go and see it. I have not seen the first or second Venom movie. I just haven't had much of an interest in watching them. They didn't look interesting to me. They didn't look very good. I had the same problem that many other people have with the Venom movies. If I am going to watch a Venom movie, I want it to be bloody and gory. I want to see people ripped apart. I want it to be brutal. And that is not what these are. Therefore, I never bothered to watch them. But some friends asked if I wanted to go and see it, and I like hanging out with my friends. So I said, fuck it. Not having watched the first and second Venom movies, I wasn't sure exactly what kind of movie I was getting into. I was hoping that it would be a lot of action and not a lot of comedy. And I, for the most part, got the reverse. There was way too much comedy and not enough action. There were some action scenes that were pretty cool, but there were also a lot of really dull, boring moments. Starting off the top of my head, my biggest complaint is that the Knoll guy, did absolutely nothing in this movie except sit in a chair and just send out minions through portals. That is all he did. He doesn't really even move. The only thing he moves is his hand and his mouth to talk. Other than that, he does nothing. He was so hyped up in the trailers, and he's just supposed to be this big badass guy that, you know, all the symbiotes are afraid of for good reason, but they don't actually show us why they're afraid of him. He doesn't actually do anything. At the very end, they kind of set up for a possible sequel of maybe Noel is not done. He's going to come back and do something. But I'm not going to watch that sequel because you blue balled me on this one and you gave me nothing. The only character that I wanted to see, the only two characters that I wanted to see were Carnage, which I didn't watch the second movie because I heard it wasn't good, or I heard they fucked Carnage up, and then the Null God, which I have seen they fucked up. This movie is just another Marvel Sony superhero movie. It's the same as they've always been, the same as all the rest. It's a whole bunch of really tame, really cheesy, corny jokes, and a little bit of action every now and then, and a lot of really stupid, dumb moments. The, my second complaint that doesn't make any sense. I still cannot explain this. Venom and Eddie are on a plane when they find one of the Knoll guys. What are they called? I don't remember what they were called. I can't find it with the 2 seconds of research I did. But the enemies in Venom 3, one of them comes down as Eddie and Venom are on a plane trying to get to New York from Mexico because they're in the full suit. The the enemy parasite thing can see the codex in the back of their neck, and immediately when Venom sees that, he goes and hides and just fucks Eddie over. So Eddie is now falling off a plane. We see that Venom is really scared of these things. Like he does not want to fully transform because he knows that thing is going to come looking for him and Eddie to get the codex and it's going to kill him. So then why do we see Venom fully transform just to dance with Mrs. Chang, the Asian lady? I do not understand this scene. Later in the movie, they go to Las Vegas and they find Mrs. Chang at a casino. And for some reason, Mrs. Chang has just been winning all this money. So they give her a fucking penthouse suite up in the very top of the hotel. Eddie and Venom, who are now running from the government, running from FBI, running from everyone, they go up into the suite with Mrs. Chang, and Mrs. Chang wants to dance. And you know what Venom does? He says, fuck yeah, let's dance. And for some reason, without even thinking about the monster that they are still running from, that is still looking for them, he goes and fully transforms just to dance with Mrs. Chang. And then what do you know? The creature fucking pops out. It comes in from the fucking, jumps off another building and crashes in through the door. And then Venom sees that and is like, oh shit. And then immediately untransforms and goes back into Eddie. And then right after, the creature just goes away and immediately fucking FBI people, whatever they are, military people, come down and kidnap him. I told my friend I did not like that part and I thought it was stupid. It didn't make any sense. Like Venom knows that they're hiding from this thing. Venom knows that this thing wants to get him. And for some reason, he just forgets or just doesn't care and transforms just to dance with Mrs. Chang. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. And I told that to my friend, and he's like, well, that's kind of how they made Venom. Is kind of irrational. He kind of does stuff without thinking. And I'm like, I don't think that makes him irrational. I think that makes him fucking retarded, honestly. I'm gonna say it. I think he's stupid, and I think the writers are stupid for that. I think they didn't have a way to get Venom and Eddie to fight the creature or to get Venom and Eddie kidnapped by the government agency. And so they just said, whatever, fuck it. Just think of some way. It doesn't even have to be good. And it clearly wasn't good. That is one of my biggest complaints with this movie is there's just stupid writing and cheesy, corny writing. Oh my god, there were so many bad jokes. There were quite a couple jokes where I actually like sat back and cringed in my chair watching the movie. I just did not have a good time with this movie. Another thing too is Toxin was in the movie. I think it was Toxin. Whatever the bluish green one was. Me, having not seen the first and second movie, that person came in on screen, so I asked my friend who has seen the movies, I was like, yo, who is that guy? Like, am I supposed to know him? And he's like, I don't know who that is. But they just introduced a whole new character that we haven't seen yet. Somehow, apparently, Eddie knows him already, but maybe my friend just forgot who he was. So I'll take that with a grain of salt. But they show the new character. He's got a symbiote, and the only time we see him, he's in the cell. And then the one time he actually does something, he fucking dies. He breaks out of the cell to get Eddie out of the cell so we can get to Venom because the Null monster comes down and starts looking around or whatever. So Toxin breaks out of the cell and then breaks Eddie out so we can get to Venom. And then he just immediately dies. And it's like that. You had this character that you just introduced just to kill him off right there. That is my biggest complaint with all of the Venom movies is they don't think ahead about what they were doing. Like the first movie had a riot as the main enemy. Like that doesn't make any sense. Immediately from the first movie, they fucked themselves over and they just completely messed up a storyline that they could have had. And then in the second movie, Carnage comes, and then I'm pretty sure they just kill him in the second movie. That's Carnage is my boy. I already said it. Carnage and the Null God are my two favorite like Venom characters. Anti Venom is cool too, but I like Carnage and Null more. And you know what? They fucked me over on both of them. Carnage is not super bloody and gory and everything like it should have been. Carnage should have been cutting people open. And he's a serial killer. He should have been bloody. They should have just said fuck it and made the movie R rated, especially with Deadpool and Wolverine that just came out a little bit before. All of the Deadpool movies have done good. And for some reason, they still won't give us like an actually badass Venom. They just give us this fucking PG-13 crap and keep telling us that it's good enough. If there is a sequel to this movie, I have no plans of watching it. I I feel like I wasted money just watching this movie. It was nice because I hung out with friends, but if I had known this movie was going to be like this, I don't know if I would watch it a second time. And I'm definitely not going to watch a sequel. I'm not going to watch the first two movies. I just have no interest in this property. Anyways, those are my complaints with the movie. Let me know what you guys think about the movie in the comments or whatever. Did you like the movie? Did you hate it? What other problems do you have with it? What did you think could have been better? What did you think was good? Anyways, that's it. Have a good one. See ya. Thanks for watching.